To Alp Menick from Migration Watch and find out what's going on. Alp, a very good morning to you.
Good morning to you, sir.
I mean, I've been saying for quite a while, Alp, can we find a business in this country, preferably a public sector one, that actually works efficiently and does well? We finally found one. Unfortunately, it's people traffickers, but they've found probably the greatest method of travel, the most successful, the most profitable. It's an incredible amount of money.
And that's why it's not going to stop, Mike.
Right.
As I think the last time we discussed this issue, I said I'm pretty sure that until we send out the message that crossing by boat won't work, I'm afraid they will keep coming. And the number is inexhaustible. And this year, it will almost certainly be a lot more than last year.
No, well, it really will. Well, I mean, the thing that really impresses you when you watch the figures here is that only 5 years ago, they made something like £1 million, right? 2018, and they've increased the profits by 100-fold. I mean, that, by any measure, is an extraordinary business. £4,000 per head they're charging. Well,
in 2018, the whole year, and it only really got going in October of that year, there were 299 who came. Last year, it was close to 46,000. So why wouldn't they?
Right.
When they can charge that sort of money, and having got them here, they get to stay. Of course they will keep on doing it. And as for Yvette Cooper saying yesterday that she's going to stop it by tackling the gangs, ho-ho is what I would say to that. Frankly, it shows that the political class are bereft of ideas on what to do about this. And what Yvette Cooper said yesterday was effectively to say, I have no idea how to stop it. And I'm afraid that's the way things are at the moment.
Yes, absolutely right. And of course, you know, one of the 5 priorities of the government, sadly for a lot of people it's the 5th one down, so I don't know whether they're going to do the other 4 first, but it is stop the boats. It's a very simple message, but what does it mean? Because I haven't seen any evidence that this government and this Home Secretary is going to do anything different from any previous one.
Well, you're right. So far, I think there's very little evidence. I do say, and just to be fair to Suella Braverman, I think she genuinely means it. Whether she's successful in the end, well, we'll see. Certainly, until we start detaining people, dealing with them quickly, and returning them or removing them, I'm afraid they will keep coming.
Well, exactly right. But here's an interesting question from Jeff, who's texted into 87222. If the traffickers are making this sort of money, you have to ask, where are they keeping it? You can't put £183 million under the bed. And I was listening, funnily enough, to an interview, because there's a movie or a TV series coming out about the Brinks Mat robbery, and people were explaining who were involved in it, that basically it was such a kind of a groundbreaking robbery, because so much, I think £26 million worth of gold bullion was stolen from a van at Heathrow. But not only did it baffle the police at the beginning, but it changed the way the police looked at things, because the gold was taken away and melted down, and it was then resold back into the market. The money was laundered abroad, you know, and suddenly this was an international scandal, an international criminal enterprise, which obviously this is as well. So where's the money going, and are you in any way able to shed any light on where the money ends up?
I wish I could say exactly where it all was, and if we don't know, then you would expect the government to know where this money is. Very clearly, they haven't got a Scooby where the money is. And it's probably because this isn't a case of a few big gangs, ruthless gangs, actually putting it together. I think it's a much looser arrangement than that, where the money could be anywhere, frankly, in any country, be it Switzerland, be it France, be it in Serbia, you name it. And I think they've got ways of stashing their money where we can't get hold of it. On the other hand, I think it's perfectly possible that our government, working with other governments, can get a better idea of where that money is and tackle it. But it still won't stop the boats. Until they stop succeeding, I'm afraid they will keep coming. And even if you identify a few and take their money, There's many, many more to take their place, and it will just keep going on in this way.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? Because what it will also certainly do is provide them with lots of what they might call seed money to continue the process of bringing people from Europe or from North Africa or from the Middle East and wherever it is, other places where they're coming from, and even smuggling people in now from Central America, which seems extraordinary to me. But you've also got this kind of never-ending supply of these very, very hard-wearing dinghies now, which I'm told are made in China, and there's quite a sophisticated shipping route for those to get to northern France, so that when they do produce, 50 men, they've got a boat immediately to get into.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's China. There's been talk of boats being produced in Turkey. It can happen anywhere. Who knows? Perhaps it's going on in Russia, for all I know. It's not simply a case of targeting a particular group and getting to the bottom of it. It's spread across the globe, this whole network of people, and there's no shortage of producers, of dinghies, of rafts, of whatever you want and whatever you need, all over the place. They can be quickly put together, and that's what happens, I'm afraid.
Right. And we've been told, as I'm sure you've heard as well, that some of the boats that come this year might actually be bigger, because we know that in the Mediterranean, certainly parts of the southern Mediterranean, they've been using boats that they can get a couple of hundred people on. I mean, if they start doing that, it really does become a massive problem, because it's bad enough now when 50 arrive or 100 arrive, or in the case of just the other day, 1,000 people arrived on maybe, 10 boats or something, or maybe, 20 boats. But if you're going to bring boats with 200, 250 people on, I mean, that starts to become a critical number, doesn't it?
Well, frankly, I'm not even sure that they need to do that. It could be that in northern France, having boats that size might not be feasible, because it will take longer to put them together, and I don't know how they're going to do it, but I suspect that it will become slightly impractical if they've got very big boats. We'll see. Certainly, even with the boats that they've got now and getting 50 or more into each boat, they're still going to be making a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
And while they're making that sort of money, why should they stop?
Well, quite. I mean, I wonder whether it's easier, in a way, to kind of battle if they do start bringing larger boats, whether it's easy to turn those around, because they might be more, perhaps, seaworthy, but then they might not be, because we also see those things capsizing occasionally in the Mediterranean, don't we?
Well, frankly, if they put together boats that take 200 people, at some point we're going to lose 200 people when these things capsize, as they will do. I mean, the Channel is not the Mediterranean, frankly, and it's bad enough in the Mediterranean. Yeah. My worry is two things, really. One is that they're going to continue coming, but so long as they are able to rid themselves of their documents, or destroy their passports, any other identity documents, and get here, and then we wring our hands, say, what on earth are we going to do about this, and let them stay on. And as happened with this guy, Abdul Rahim Zai, who it took 2 years to provide the evidence that he was 19, not 14 when he arrived. Yeah. That's senseless. That's absolutely bananas, frankly. It should take some when you see someone, I mean, you tell me if you can look at a youngster, a 14-year-old, and believe them when they say, I'm actually more than that, or I'm less than that. Yeah. If you see a 14-year-old, frankly, they look like a 14-year-old. Exactly. And if you see a 19 or 20-year-old, well, frankly, they look like 19, 20-year-olds. They've got a beard. In some cases, they may even be having a receding hairline. Yeah. It's so obvious, and yet officials' hands are tied. They are hamstrung. it was only a couple of years ago when Priti Patel was Home Secretary that the instructions and guidance to officials dealing with cases was that if there was any doubt that they were not over 25, then they should be given the benefit of that doubt. And I mean, that doesn't make sense. It's certainly not common sense that this programme is famed for.
No, you're absolutely right. Al, good to talk to you.